Well, hi, everybody. It's the second Monday that we've been doing this since I retired, and just to get a couple of points out of the way, I'm in my car. Somebody asked me the other day, are you driving? Well, no, of course not. I'm driving. I know Southern California drivers are nuts, but I'm not that nuts. So we're in a nice shady spot, and the main reason I'm in the car is because I don't have to wear a mask. So if I'm outside, I'm a real stickler for that. If I'm outside, anywhere near anybody, I wear a mask, and I don't want to have to do these reports, even though it's only once a week. I just don't want to have to wear a mask. I've worn a mask long enough and will continue to wear a mask until I ad infinitum. So that's the reason we're in the car. So this is number two. Thank you for your support on the first one. We had a very good response, and we hope we get a few more. Tell your friends and different people if they're interested in hearing what I have to say. On Facebook, we'll do this once a week. Let's start with some facts and figures. First of all, the number of cases in Los Angeles County continue to go down. The trend is good. For the first time since these briefings have been held, Dr. Ferrer was not here today. The only reason we were told is that she was off and that she will be back next week. I assume she took a very well-deserved day off. It was Dr. Montu Davis who gave the briefing. So the numbers, 13 deaths, 5,558 total now, just a shade under 2,000 new cases today. Positivity rate in the last couple of weeks hovers now at below 8%. Overall, it's 10%. 2.1 million people have been tested. And the hospitalization rate, remember, it was pushing 2,300 not that long ago. Well, today the number is 1,219. It has gone down for 5 straight days, which is a great sign. So those are the two key figures. Now, Los Angeles needs one more criteria to get off that watch list, and it's not going to be an easy thing to do. I know you heard about USC students, 43 tested positive not far from the campus. Don't know how many more. But what we don't know is 43 out of how many. Again, it just indicates how dangerous it is for a cluster of people to be in one spot or go to a party or mingle without your mask. It's just too doggone dangerous. How's Orange County going to open up some schools? Well, those are the elementary school kids who tests have shown us that they do not get the virus as easily. They're not carriers as much as adults are, but that's for another time and place. So again, the big thing to take away from, the numbers are getting better. There is a vast improvement. We're going in the right direction. How soon can we start to reopen the economy again? Not yet. But if the numbers keep going like this, we're getting closer than further away. So that's the key thing. Just some numbers today. I mean, I know you get overwhelmed with numbers, but I've always been a stickler for that. This is week number 24 of living in this new normal, if you will, with the restrictions. So week 24, day number 167, and week number 8 since I called it a career at CBS. At week number 1, when they put in the first restrictions, week number 1, the number then was 1 dead from the virus in LA County, and there were 69 cases. And of course, they had a great deal of trouble getting the people tested. That was the big thing. So in 23 weeks, the number 1 dead, now to 55, 58 dead. The number 69 cases in 23 weeks, gone from 69 to just a shade under 233,000 positive cases. 2.1 million people have been tested in Southern California since this pandemic began, and the positivity rate is right at 10%, which is okay. That's all right. 10% is what the experts all wanted. Dr. Ferrer kept talking about that. Now, I told you last week that I was going to bring out a tape interview that I did with Dr. Ferrer in June. I asked her the question. We never aired it on the interview that I did with Dr. Ferrer, the little profile piece we did. But I asked her, what is Thanksgiving and Christmas going to look like? And she was very open. She said, it's not going to be normal. So we're not going to be able to sit around the table and have, Uncle Joe and Aunt Frida and everybody, all the cousins and everybody come over for Thanksgiving dinner. So that's not going to happen. Okay, what's going to happen around Christmas time? Doctor talked about this, and Anna will put up a little bit of the interview. Let's look ahead to Christmas time. Do you see us getting anywhere where we can enjoy Christmas the way we normally do?
There are a lot of changes that are possible to see by Christmas time. One is, could we get some really good therapeutic medicines? But, if, for example, there was a very inexpensive, rapid assessment test that you could use, you could self-swipe at your home in the morning, gives you a result in 10 minutes, and if you're positive, you don't go out, and if you're negative, you go, and you could pretty much do this every day, because it was so inexpensive, and it really required so little resources, because you'd swab yourself and then you get the results. That would also give us a different sense of security as we went about. So I do think there are things that could happen between now and Christmas that would change the strategies.
Are we close to either one of those, what you just talked about?
I want to give so much credit to all the scientists and researchers. I mean, they're working around the clock. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
The only thing that's holding it back right now from becoming reality is the cost. As far as testing goes, I'm the oldest of 8, as I mentioned many times before, and my brother, who's a retired judge, wasn't feeling real well. And his body ached and just felt run down, and he didn't know. It was oppressive heat, but he didn't know that. So he went and got a test, a COVID test, and he, thank God he's negative. But he told me he went to a place, it's in Boyle Heights. It's on the corner, right off Soto, off Pennsylvania Avenue. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because if you are looking for a place to get a test, he told me that it was very, very easy. There was very, very little waiting. They didn't do the intrusive nose test. They did it on the swab. And he said he got his results back in a day. It was covered by insurance, and he stayed in his car. And so just a toss out, if you need to get a test and you live anywhere in that area, he said it was very well run. No muss, no fuss, no 2-hour wait, no 4 or 5 days waiting to get your results back, and it was covered by his insurance. So that's in Boyle Heights, not far from Soto Street on Pennsylvania, near Mariachi Plaza. A couple other things I wanted to talk about very, very quickly. The homeless population, you probably saw that in the Times today. When all this started, and I was included in that, I thought this was going to be an absolute pandemic among the homeless, but it has not been that way. 1,300 cases in Los Angeles to date. 31 people who are considered to be homeless died. The projection at the beginning of this was we were going to have at least 400 homeless people dead because of this pandemic, and as many as 2,600 would have to be hospitalized. That hasn't been the case at all. Nothing. The reason? Well, they think it's because they live outdoors. You're outdoors, you're less susceptible to get this. In fact, there was a study in Japan just released that showed you are 19 times greater to get the virus if you're indoors rather than outdoors. So that's one of the good things we have. Also today, it was a study that was released that the number of people who are getting heart attacks or strokes are not living in the same number as they would prior to the pandemic. And the reason for that is it's taking longer for the hospital, for the paramedics to get to you and treat you because of all the restrictions that they have to do before they can actually work on you if you're unfortunate enough to have a heart attack. And the other thing that's happening is people who are in families or even bystanders are very reluctant to do CPR. So those two factors are very, very the key reasons why more people who are suffering the heart attack, who normally would survive, are not. So that's, again, a fallout from this doggone virus that we're going through. One other thing I want to mention very quickly, if I may, is when we talk about the homeless, we're going to throw up a clip. And the reason I want to bring it up now is because a very good friend of mine who's now a federal judge, Dave Carter, Dave and I go way, way back. I knew Dave when he was on the panel for he did all the death penalty cases in Orange County as a prosecutor. Fine man, Vietnam War veteran, just a great guy. And now he's a federal judge. He's the one that cleaned up the mess in Orange County. He got rid of all the homeless in the Civic Center area and all along the riverbanks there. Strong judge, excellent judge. He's now handling a case in Los Angeles near the freeways, underneath freeway passes. He says it's extremely dangerous for a number of reasons. And he put down a pretty strict order, which the city and the county begged and borrowed to have him put off a bit. He did. But we're going to show you a clip of what it looks like at Echo Park. And if Dave has his way, the way I know Dave, this will be cleaned up. as you look around Los Angeles, I mean, it's a deplorable situation. I've lived here all my life, and I've never seen anything like this. It seems like it's almost uncontrollable. But Dave took care of it, and I shouldn't call him Dave, but Judge Carter took care of it in Orange County. And for some reason, he's given the officials here in L.A. a little bit of a leeway. But if he brings down the hammer, he's got the power and the ability to do it. Excellent judge, and that's something to look for because that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. He's given the city and the county a deadline, and I don't think he's going to be lenient any much longer. One other thing I wanted to mention, churches, as you know, there's a lawsuit going on. A judge is supposed to make a decision tomorrow on where the church in Sun Valley can hold services. I know how difficult that is. I was torn when I couldn't go to church for the longest time, and then when they could reopen, I still wasn't comfortable enough to go back into church. It's a very small church, but we've gone now to outdoor services. And again, it's a small congregation, but you have to be careful. I mean, I know people want to worship, but when you see all these big numbers of people without their mask on, it just kind of curls. It gives me a funny feeling in my stomach because, you know, people, the evidence is there. I mean, you wear the mask, you keep your distance, and we're going to get this thing under control. But you know, avoid going inside big buildings. Or I know you want to go to church, but outside, it's a very nice, pleasant atmosphere. I've enjoyed it. We've done it now for 2 weeks, and it seems to go well. You wear your mask, but that's the way you're supposed to live. You got to wear your mask. That's about it I wanted to touch on. There's a whole bunch of things I want to talk about. I mean, I'd love to talk about the Rams coming up their season. I mean, you know, in October, if everything goes well, you're going to have the Lakers and the Clippers probably playing for the Western Division Finals, and the Dodgers are going great guns. They'll be playing at the same time. That's never happened before. So there's a lot of other things we'll talk about. Probably rambled on too much right now, but please send me your feedback. There's a few ideas that I want to try. I'm enjoying retirement. I have no plans to come out of retirement. I have no plans to do this more than once a week unless the feeling is overwhelming. But, you know, we'll just keep it once a week right now. So send me your cards and letters, good, bad, or indifferent. We'll keep it going. And again, the key thing is we're heading in the right direction. The numbers to watch. And again, I know it's easy to get oh my God, we have 2,000 cases. We had blah, blah, blah. No, just the numbers you want to look at. The only numbers that really count on this. Positivity rate, still trending down. Hospitalizations, way down. I mean, almost 1,000 fewer people in the hospital in LA than they were a month ago. That's a great sign. All right, stay healthy. The weather's cooling down a little bit, thank God. And we'll see you next week, okay? Thanks for your time.